Today's Inspire to Thrive focus is on wellness, so we're featuring the Holistic Life Foundation. Through a comprehensive evidence-based approach involving yoga, mindfulness, and self-care, their organization provides resources and mentorship to students and residents in the Baltimore community and beyond. They've worked in schools, recreation centers, group homes, mental crisis facilities, and many other venues. We will now hear from their founders, Ollie Smith, Atman Smith, and Andres Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Ollie Smith.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Andres Gonzalez. Everyone calls me Andy.
How you doing? I'm Atman Smith. Nice to meet you all. Coming here from the Holistic Life Foundation.
Okay, so Atman and I are brothers, and we met Andy at the University of Maryland College Park. Atman and I were introduced to meditation as children and got out of it as later in life. Our godfather was one of those people that got into yoga in the 60s and never ever got out of it. And he taught us a lot about yoga and meditation and breath work and all types of contemplative practices.
Yeah, we saw basically how it strengthened us mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and we just wanted to share this with other folks, as many people as possible.
I think the passion really came to share this work when we got into our own practice and we saw the transformation that did happen when we started going inward more and how we became, I guess, more compassionate, more loving individuals. We knew it was kind of our mission and our goal to spread these techniques and practices so everybody could feel the bliss that we felt inside ourselves.
And I think another thing we noticed was a lack of opportunities and a lack of resources for the kids and the young adults and in the communities. So I think a big part of what the Holistic Life Foundation became was a workforce development organization. So we were teaching the kids the practices young as kids, like starting in pre-K and rolling on through, but once they graduated from high school, they needed a way to survive and support themselves and their families, kids, and all these other things. So we had to start training them to be able to facilitate the programs. I think that was when the Holistic Life Foundation started to make a real big impact. It was once we started training our students to be teachers and then employing them, and then we were able to go from serving like 200 kids a week with the three of us trying to do everything to over 10,000 kids a week in Baltimore City public schools.
I think that the program I'm the most proud of is our Mindful Moment program. We were the first people to create an alternative to suspension room where the focus is where our staff is staffing the room, and our kids have 15 minutes to come in there where they're off center or acting out on their trauma. They come down there, do some breathing techniques, meditations, and then they go back to class in better moods and understand the way the stress plays out in your body, and then figuring out the different practices that they learn to be able to do those practices before they act out on those stressors. And I think the coolest thing about that program is in the epicenter of where the Freddie Gray uprising happened, there's been 0 suspensions there for the past 4 years.
One of the programs that I'm most proud of is our Bridging Academics in the Mind program, or BAM. Our teacher always tells us that we needed to use technology more because we could reach more people. And then, thinking about that, reflecting on it, we came up with that Bridging Academics in the Mind program, where it's it's an online tool with like evidence-based trauma-informed practices where, kids can use it in school or use it at home, and they can get led through practices where they're learning the benefits of the practices and then learning how to use the practices, and then they're learning how to put them together. And I think it's just something that it's not the way that we prefer to teach, but it's a way to reach as many people as possible, because we're not limited by travel, we're not limited by quarantine or COVID. Like, we can reach people no matter where they are in the world. As long as they speak English, they can use this product. So I'm really proud about that and the reach that it has.
One story that I like a lot, it was a time where there was a gentleman who was in our program. He's a 5th grader, he was big, he's tall. He was doing great, he was really doing a great job with us. We thought we were making huge strides with him. And we come to the school one day and the administration is like, oh, you gotta check on him. He really just wilded out today. And then we sit down, we talk to him. Ali sits down and talks to him. Hey man, what's going on? We heard that you're acting out. You had an outburst today. You've been doing so good. What's the problem? And he kind of just looks down. He's got a big hole in his pants, and he's like, all the kids are making fun of me. There's holes in my pants. You can tell he's down about it, right? I was like, get your jacket, let's go. And you can tell the kid's like, man. But all Ali did was take him out, and he took him across the street to Target, and he bought a new pair of pants. And the next day, we come back to the school, and the administration staff were like, "Oh my God, you guys are amazing. What did you do with him?" And it was just like, Ali just listened to him. You know, he just listened to him for once. Sometimes we do just need to listen.
I mean, COVID definitely threw us a curveball. So I think that we pivoted as much as possible, then changing the way that we teach to a virtual platform. And like that one program that Ali was talking about, the Bridging Academics in the Mind, was already basically set up for a virtual platform, but we just had to fine tune it a little bit to make it more user friendly for devices and stuff like that. Virtual yoga classes, just figuring out ways to make sure that the participants are engaged. We got donations from people to create care packages for the kids so they can have the same enrichment activities, whether it's robotics, gardening, and a couple other enrichment activities, and of course the yoga. So, you know, we've just been learning this virtual reality.
As the Holistic Life Foundation, moving forward, I think we just want to be able to help more people help themselves. I know the way that we teach has always been about empowering people with the practice and showing them how to use it to change their lives and the people around them, to change their own families, change their own communities, and to change the world. I think using technology to reach more people is going to be an aspect of doing that. And hopefully being able to travel again. I feel like getting out and connecting with people is something that we do really, really well and teach and train. And I think that one of the other things that we do when we travel out is we learn more about ourselves and about the practice. So I think it's going to help everything, being able to get out and get on the road again.
Breaking Boundaries and IIDA MAC are proud to share that we are donating $300 to the Holistic Life Foundation.